The scorching sands of the Wildspire Waste sprawl across a vast stretch of land. A desolate, harsh environment, deadly and strikingly beautiful. In a place such as this, you would be forgiven for thinking it devoid of life, but many ancient and fearsome monsters, birds, mammals, plants, invertebrates, and insects call this harsh land home. Life is sustained by, and in places flourishes because of the runoff water from the ancient forest. Its life-giving journey from the rainforest's tops helped to carve the mighty canyons and dusty valleys of the wastes, over the course of hundreds of years, eventually forming the mighty ancient swamplands. Within its squelching muds and scorched deserts, drier than Theresa May's own hidden valley, bizarre wyverns, especially adapted to the watery sludge and fierce, unrelenting sun, live a life of toil, where the margins for error are slim. A lone dung beetle pushes his payload. It's still early in the day, yet the baking sun has sent temperatures soaring in this canyon to well over 40 degrees centigrade. The moisture from within the dung helps sustain this little beetle on his epic journey. So far, he has diligently and tirelessly rolled a lump of Kestodon droppings into a perfect ball, as close to perfection as a certain Miss Kardashian's dairy heir. He began this process 3 days ago, and will not stop rolling until he and his precious cargo are safe within his den. A mating pair of gadua inhabit the lower swamps. They have been involved in a dance of love for a number of hours, as the male attempts to stimulate his female. Circling each other before parting and returning to circle once again, the female prepares to release her eggs. The deed is done. They thrash in the water wildly to combine both elements for new life. However, the female gadua will not survive. After reaching maturity, she has but one chance to reproduce, as the process and sheer exertion kills her. Rolling to one side, she floats to the surface. The male will now be solely responsible for their eggs, and unable to leave the area, feasts upon the corpse of the now deceased mother. Even in death, she gives life to her young. This elder Bharath is dying. With no natural predators and their thickly armored carapace, the mighty Bharath rarely succumb to anything other than old age. He is tired. Taking slow steps, he sinks gently into the cooling mud and lowers his head for what will likely be the last time. No one knows why the Bharath do this, or how they know when their time is up. But eventually each will make this last journey to their final resting place. Where life and death are dealt in almost equal measure, there is one desert specialist that not only survives, but flourishes. The prickly, pink-flowering, spine-covered bauble cactus. This succulent, fleshy plant is riddled with razor-sharp barbs that cut deeper than Jimmy Carr in a roast battle extraordinaire. But for the intrepid adventurer bold enough to take them on, great rewards can be found within. A network of sandy caves stretches below the dunes for miles. Sandy waterfalls rain down the dry, cracked stone caverns and flow eerily like liquid. The dust chokes almost all life, but hardy creatures do inhabit the incredibly arid climate. These gigantic anthills stand as testament to the necessary hard work and determination needed to survive in the Wildspire Wastes. Often taking hundreds of years, these colossal colonies have stood the test of time, becoming part of the landscape, and will likely remain when all else has crumbled and turned to dust. A shrill cry cuts through the windswept valley. A lone Noise is agitated and screams again. However, unbeknown to him, a monster stirs deep beneath the scorched earth. This odd-looking bird has awoken a sleeping giant. Exploding from beneath the sands, the Diabolos, unable to pinpoint the source of the noise, goes on a rampage like no other. This ancient beast is known to hate all forms of noise, choosing to live a life of solitude beneath the earth. More volatile, grotesque, and savage than Gemma Collins on a night out in Blackpool, the Diabolos hides from the relentless sun. It is often thought that monsters are the top of the food chain, but here, in the unrelenting harshness of the blistering sun, Mother Nature and her fierce elements are what take the most life. If you liked this episode of Planet Monster Hunter World, be sure to click on that like button and perhaps even subscribe if you haven't already. As always, I've been your host, DRBC 007. Thank you for watching, and remember, a slap and a tickle is okay by me. Okay indeed.